I'm Ariana Grande.
Hi, I'm Cynthia Erivo.
And you're listening to the Broadway Podcast Network.
Visit bpn.fm to discover more.
Hey, I'm Matt Copley. Welcome to the Theater Podcast with Alan Seals. What happens when classical opera training collides head-on with aggressive post-hardcore rock? Well, you get our guest, Matt Copley, and a total theatrical reinvention that takes iconic Broadway standards and flips them completely on their head. Today on the podcast, we are diving into fun things, in my opinion, such as vocal mechanics, false chord screams, and what it really takes to bridge the gap between diehard theater lovers and the punk rock community. We get into the wild journey of building a viral sensation, how moving back home during the pandemic unexpectedly paved the way for a brand new career path, and the hilarious reality of pitching a high-energy rock cover of Wicked to writing partners who have zero theatrical background. That's his band, by the way. Plus, stick around for a 60-second summary of Mary Poppins that you're not going to find anywhere else. Follow me on social, tell your friends, share this, make sure that we can help the podcast grow. And everybody, now enjoy this episode with Matt Copley.
Your mind's on a journey through this strange new world. Leave all thoughts of the life you knew before. Let your soul take you where you long to be.
Today's guest is a Michigan-based recording artist, content creator, and theatrical producer. He has toured internationally as a member of the post-hardcore band Unwell and the creator and producer of Broadway Does Punk, which transforms iconic scores from shows like Wicked, Hamilton 6th, Phantom of the Opera, Heathers, Grease, those high-energy rock anthems, makes them into songs that I love watching online. The project makes its live New York City debut on October 2nd and 3rd at the Abrams Art Center Playhouse Theater. Matt Copley, welcome to the Theater Podcast.
Dude, thank you.
Broadway Does Punk. Why did Matt start to do punk?
As a whole, growing up, I was super into anything, like any emo kind of music from like Warped Tour era to, I don't know, just any kind of post-hardcore music, like All Time Low, Mayday Parade. And then my brother introduced me to like heavier bands like Bring Me the Horizon and Sleeping with Sirens and stuff like that. And that was just kind of soundtracked my life growing up. But at the same time, I was also involved in like the community theater at a young age and, did my high school theater, and then that kind of blossomed too. So both things kind of existed at the same time for me starting at a young age. And then I just kind of kept both alive as life went on.
So I didn't recognize a single one of those bands that you said.
Yeah.
And it could be an age thing, it could be a genre thing. But I've not been a punk fan, but I love, I gotta say, Broadway Does Punk. What's your plug your Instagram, your TikTok, and your socials real quick at the beginning, because I want people to go pause right now and go listen to this.
Okay, it's at Matt is Unwell. Matt with 2 T's.
Okay, Matt is Unwell.
Yes.
All right, so now that you're back, now that you've listened to some of this stuff, you're taking these high energy, just Broadway classics, I guess.
Sure. Well-known
standards, we'll say.
Yeah,
modern
sure.
Broadway standards.
Yeah.
And just punkifying them.
Yeah.
And so when you said when you were a kid, you were doing community theater, was that like singing and things? And so was that like traditional sort of like legit singing?
Yeah. I grew up singing just like how any other, theater student of the arts would sing. And I was in choir and I took voice lessons, was trained classically for a lot of years. Then I went to college and I was in a musical theater program. And then I also trained classically there too. And it didn't really occur to me that until I joined a band after college that I started singing, a little more aggressively, doing screams, harsher vocals. And then when we were coming up with ways to promote our new album that we wrote, we were like, well, something that's unique to me is that I have this Broadway kind of background or this theater kind of background, and I'm in this punk band or this rock band, and why don't we just like combine both worlds? Because there was like very few examples of this online before I really started going head first into it. So I was like, let me just explore what this is going to sound like. And we were like, let's just do one cover. It was Defying Gravity. Like, let's just send it for the big one and see what happens. And it just kind of took off from there.
But where did was it you and your band, with the guys with Unwell, that put this all together? Did you all arrange it, or was that all on you?
Yeah, it was me and my writing partners, Drew and Chris. So they're part of Unwell too. So Drew and Chris are like producers full time.
You're all Unwell
like
together.
Rock producers. Yes, exactly,
okay,
exactly.
Okay.
But yeah, no. So they're my writing partners, and they're like the mixers and producers of basically the whole project too. So
That's really interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, so then you're like, all right, going to them. What is their theater background? Because was this pitch hard? You're like, guys, I got this great idea.
yeah,
And it's going to be Defying Gravity. I'm going to sing, like, how was that sell?
Yeah, I think there was definitely some resistance. So one of them, Drew, has no theater background at all, really. Chris and I actually went to high school together, and Chris did theater in high school with me. So he was part of like our high school production of Les Mis and our high school production of Tarzan, and so like yeah. So he had a theater background and was like familiar with all the tunes and everything. So, but there was some resistance in like, Matt, like, this is like, we're trying to be like a serious band, like a rock band. Like, I don't know if this is like what we want to be doing with our time and efforts, and luckily I was able to convince him, and here we are today, a couple of years later, so it's all good.
But if you're going to go off and take a chance like that, you got to come in and do it well, right? Like when you put it together, and all right, so I'm going to pause right now. In the edited version, I'm going to drop in a little clip of Defying Gravity. Boom.
It's time to try defying gravity. I think I'll try defying gravity. Kiss me goodbye. I'm defying gravity, and you won't bring me down.
Okay, now we're back. So that, when did you know like that was something worth continuing? Because like people do like covers and random things all the time, and like in Broadway, there's one of the greatest things that happens every year in the community is miscast, where miscast,
Yeah,
where people
I do, yeah.
sing songs they're technically not appropriate for, but they do it sometimes better. And arguably, your version of these songs is like so different and so unique that I would call it better in a very different way. Like, it's not the genre that's on Broadway, but you're bridging that.
Yeah, I'm bridging that for a lot. So I didn't know right away that this was like a hit. Like when we were just like mixing it and like getting it back for the first time before posting it, I didn't know it was going to be hit at all. I was like, I think it's really cool. I think it's sick. It like blends both of my voices. Like, let's just post and see what happens. And then I think that very first, swing at the bat, like, it just hit a home run and it went viral online. And that was really the tell. I was like, okay, so there's like millions of people that also really enjoy this and identify, I guess, with both sides of the coin here. So let's just keep doing it and let's just see what happens.
Yeah.
And yeah, we just kept going for it, and it's kept building and building and building over the past few years. So it's been really, really cool to see both communities kind of come together. And there's a lot more crossover with people in theater and in just like general like rock audiences that love both things. That, like I said, before this started, like there was only a few examples of this online or that existed, and no one ever really did like a full project based on this kind of concept. So it's been really, really fun. And I have a lot of fun doing it every day. It's my everyday right now. So it's a lot of fun.
Yeah. I mean, what do they say? Like, if you do what you like, you never work a day in your life. Whatever that shit is. But yeah, what was this? You said a couple years ago you put this out. So that was like right when probably the hype for the first Wicked movie was coming out.
No, it was actually back in like 2021.
Oh, earlier.
Yeah, it was like 5 years ago now.
We old, bro.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah, for real. We started 5 years ago, and I put out like a couple streamable ones like Defying Gravity, Greatest Showman, Phantom, and then basically we did that first little record, I guess, and then I took a break while I focused on Unwell and our original music for like 3 years, and we toured, and that's when I really got my brunt of like touring, being on the road with a band and getting more experience that way. And then just recently this year, back in February, I kind of kickstarted the project again, because I was like, I kind of want to see what I can do now.
Yeah.
Having
Yeah,
like
yeah.
4 more years of experience behind my belt of songwriting, and we made 3 albums in that time. So like I was like, let me revisit this project, and dude, like it hit even harder the second time, like online, like it went viral so much. It's just something that keeps piling on top of each other the more I release, and it's just so encouraging and like cool to see, and it makes me really fulfilled and happy. So I just keep doing it.
Well, what I said earlier about like I didn't recognize any of the bands that were your influence, but I part of why I knew about you, and actually I was following you long before this pitch and this interview was set up.
For real?
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool. Thank you.
Yeah, no, because like, you know, the algorithm and musical theater, like I've been following you for years.
Oh shoot.
And so when like this opportunity came in, I was like, hell yeah, like of course I got to meet this guy. But for me, it was as a musical theater person, I appreciate the what's the word I'm looking at, the vocality, the skill behind how well the singing is.
Okay.
Regardless of the genre. Regardless of the genre, I love the songs. They're great. But then the singing on top of that was like, that was the icing on the cake that made me like, I'm going to follow this dude because I love everything, like the stuff that you're putting out. There's other groups that I follow that do like all a cappella arrangements of things, you know, like
those are sick.
I just love to hear good voices
Yeah.
singing the songs that I already like.
Oh, thank you.
And so
dude.
like hats off. If I had a hat, I'd take it off.
Thank you very much. I'm flattered. I'm very flattered.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude, I grew up classically trained. Like I took voice lessons from like my 9th grade year up until I went off to college. And then I took 4 years in my undergrad of voice lessons too. So I took like 8 years or more of voice lessons, and it was all like with opera teachers, like opera first kind of teachers. So I was given like the foundations and the fundamentals very early on. And I think that's something that I still...
Opera.
Yeah. So I haven't like legit sang in a long time, but I did like all the... In Michigan, in the schools I went to, they called it solo and ensemble. I don't know if it's like these traditional like art pieces, like arias that are like Italian and stuff. And so that's what I grew up doing. And I didn't really do, and then I did theater too. So I kind of did both of those things, but like I never, until I joined a band, I never sang like that. And then I joined a band because I just loved the energy and I loved the feel of the music. And over the past 4 or 5 years of Unwell, I kind of just adapted and like found this new vocal quality that I never knew I had. And there was a lot of trial and error for sure, especially with like screaming and the more aggressive stuff. Like there was times where like I knew I wasn't doing it right, where I'd lose my voice and I'd have to, be on rest for a long time. But like throughout the years and touring and just being on the road of like no sleep and no like energy, I've kind of I found what works for me. And it's cool that I'm able to kind of like add that, I guess, flavor or that kind of like topping to the foundation that I've built.
Is it like physically the what's the word, physiology? I'm doing so well with words,
dude.
This
It's
morning.
great. No, you're nailing it.
The pedagogically. What is it? What is it? The study of the voice and the,
I think pedagogy.
Pedagogy.
I
Okay.
think that.
Is that what it is? Okay. So that like, is it just a different gear in your voice box that you can switch into? Because when I sing like that, I can do it for like 3 minutes and I'm out.
And then
I'm just like,
yeah.
oh god, I shouldn't be doing that. But I can sing legit because that was like how I was trained. But like physically, if you're switching between the the ensemble or the solo, as you put it, right, and then we're doing solo turbo with the screaming, are these all different gears or is it like a blend of things? Like how does the pedagogy? How does that work,
dude? It is like, I just want to send a disclaimer out here. I am not like a vocal coach and I'm not like a vocal wellness person. So I do not know the technical terms, and I am not like, do not take my advice as like, this is not advice. This is just my experience.
This is you.
Yes, this is me.
Describing you only.
So just wanted to send that out
Yes.
there. But it is kind of more for me. It feels more of like a different gear. But I can blend the gears at the same time. So it's kind of both of what you're describing. So like there's like just screaming and like low screams, high screams with no like vocal tone to it. It's just like I want to blow your mic out, but it's just that like tone, that like the growly like shit that like there's no the folds aren't making noise. It's literally like my false chords.
Yeah, like
Yeah, it's
like you're
kind of like
Skeletor.
almost like that.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
you're.
that's my Skeletor voice.
Yes, I mean, so that's like
Yeah.
one flavor you could add. There's like high screaming where it's like vocal frying, but you add a little more oomph to it, and
Yeah.
that's kind of like more the high scream stuff. So there's stuff like that, which is like a completely different gear than singing. It feels very different. But then there's singing with like a kind of like a grit, like a kind of a. I don't know how to describe. I'm so bad with like describing the experience. It's very nasally.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's all in this like
Yeah, yeah.
like kind of shit. And yeah, it's all up in my like the mask, I think is what they say.
Yeah.
All up here, and it's so hard for me to find the right words right now to describe how it feels, but it's like a topping. I add it to this ice cream that is my voice, and I'm just like, okay, let's add like a little like grit to it. Or if I'm like sending this thing, and then I just kind of, like I said, over the past years, trial and error, figure out what works for me, what I can sustainably do on stage every night, and what I can't. So there's like times where on some of my recordings that are posted, like there's some of that stuff in the recordings I can never do live.
Really?
Like, because it's like a studio recording is so much different than like doing 8 shows a week.
You can
or
try
whatever.
one shot and you're done. Yeah.
Yeah. But when I go to tour, like when I get it set up for the show in October, like I am figuring out like what's actually going to work for me sustainably that I can do. And so it might sound a little different, but it's still got that edge that people are liking, I guess.
Because something I dove into, do you know like the story behind how Alex Brightman found the voice for Beetlejuice?
No, I actually don't.
Right? Like he it was one of those things where I don't know, like he was just experimenting with how in different muscle movements in his voice box, and he ended up finding like the kind of the Michael Keaton kind of voice, right?
Yeah.
And so he posted this online. It was he was scoped, and they were watching his voice box while he was doing it to make sure he wasn't going to damage himself, and he just found some way to control some extra fold in his voice box.
Yeah.
That now he just talks like this, and it's like no big deal, right? And so
Yeah.
it doesn't hurt him at all. And that, because to sustain the 8 show a week as a lead, that's one of these things. And then so like look that up. That's an incredible thing that he's posted about and talked about, and it doesn't hurt him at all. That's the question he got all the time is like, does it hurt? It sounds like it's so painful. It's like no, but then I think of people like Tony Vincent from American Idiot and Lena Hall. Those. I interviewed Lena. I've interviewed both of them on this podcast, but Lena especially stuck out to me as like she was trying to sing legit, and then all of a sudden like the easier thing for her was just to go like in that nasal and kind of go rock.
Yeah,
and that's what she sort of fell into. And so like
there is like a freedom to it. Like there's
Yeah.
a sense of, at least for me, like growing up classically trained, I was always told like that would damage your voice. There's all those like things.
Right.
And so part of it was like whenever I got up to that higher point in my voice where I was like wanted to kind of turn and like get a little gritty, I always like tried not to, and there was some kind of like tension behind that, right? And so I think like allowing that tension to be free and just kind of do what the voice naturally wants to do was a part of finding that for myself. So that makes sense with like Lena's story, like that I can see how that worked out for her.
Yeah, I think you should try to get them guest star. If you're doing guest stars for your
Dude,
show.
I am.
Are
I
you?
am. Maybe I should send a message
Lena,
for sure.
Lena, I can. I'll get you in touch with them.
Okay, cool.
God, I love the two of like Tony and Lena to get. Oh man, just these Broadway voices.
Tony, I've never met Tony, but dude, American Idiot, the show, was just like when that came out. I was, I think, in 8th grade or 7th grade or something. I was young, and that was like the penultimate like influence of this whole project, honestly, because that was the first taste of both worlds for me that I saw. I saw it before Rent. I saw it before all these other kind of rock-ish musicals, and I loved Green Day. Green Day was one of those bands I loved growing up too. So American Idiot, and Tony Vincent with his voice and playing St. Jimmy, dude, it was like, all to say, Tony Vincent's the man.
American Idiot, obviously that was a big influence for you, but I guess in theater, did you originally think that that's what you wanted to do? You want to do musical theater?
Oh, musical theater.
Yeah,
Is that what I wanted?
Yeah.
Yeah. So like that is the lane that I was living in, that I was like, yeah, this is where I'm going to be headed. And that was like in high school. So I went to like a musical theater program in college, and I thought that's, the Broadway audition grind was like what I wanted out of my life period. And then I was part of that class that graduated in 2020 from college. So, our showcase was virtual. There was like no real agent signings because no one was working. And so I moved back to Michigan instead of New York City, where I'm from. And that's when I joined my band Unwell. And then the story just kind of wrote itself from there. And that's why, I'm so grateful that it happened the way it did. I think everything happens for a reason. So I think, if COVID never happened and I never moved back home and joined a band, I don't think I would be doing this project right now, for sure.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
We're far enough beyond the pandemic now that we can sort of see a little bit of the silver lining that's come out of a lot of that. And there were a lot of things that people got introspective. People stayed at home. People took chances and made choices that they wouldn't have otherwise ever done. And so if that hadn't happened, if you hadn't moved back home, if you hadn't joined the band, maybe you wouldn't have found this voice. Maybe you wouldn't have found this success. Maybe like the stuff that has happened downstream of this seemingly relatively insignificant choice to move back to Michigan instead of New York. Like, look how that's laid out the rest of your career path right now.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, 100%. And a lot of times I felt like the wrong choice because all my friends still moved to New York City. And like my whole class pretty much moved to New York. And I was seeing them, be successful. And I was incredibly happy for them. But part of me was like, man, like I wish, like maybe, what if I moved to New York at the same time they did? Like, where would I be in that world? But I never look back like that anymore. And it's just so hard to, like, I think it's always, yeah.
I think I want to see you as Will Shakespeare and Aunt Juliet.
Oh, dude, that'd be fun. That'd be really fun.
I think you'd crush that.
I gotta see, dude, thank you. I gotta see that.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No, it's all Max Martin pop songs.
Yeah.
So like,
oh, it's so much fun. Okay. Yeah. I'm familiar with the soundtrack. I have not seen the show yet. So maybe that's something I'll do as a new New Yorker. That'll be the first thing I see.
Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back after this break. Welcome back to the episode. So then you just moved to New York, you were telling me before we started recording, because now you're getting ready to do Broadway Goes Punk,
Yes.
October 2nd and 3rd here in New York City. Like, where did the idea to even put this up as a standalone show begin?
It began because of two reasons. First one is I love touring, and I loved touring with my band. It was more smaller scale things, but we did a lot of national and international things, and I loved touring, and I loved being on the road. So that was the first thing. Second thing was everyone online on all these videos is like, when can I see this live? Like, when are you doing this? Come to this city, come to Mexico, come to Brazil. Yeah. So like I kept
this
seeing
is like
all these
international. Mexico,
dude, it's
wow.
everywhere. It is international. So there's a lot of plans going on behind the scenes for that, but all these messages and all these comments, I read all of them for the most part. And I was like, I really want to give it a shot here, but I want to do it my way, and I want to do it all out to the full extent. I never do anything like half-assed.
Do my way in punk.
Okay, yes. Yes, dude.
I would love to hear that.
My way. Yeah.
I do it my way.
Exactly.
Yeah, something like that.
But yeah, so I that's where the idea stemmed from, to do this live, and it just kind of built from there. And I don't do anything half-assed. I want to do it to the full extent. So it is like I keep calling it the perfect fusion of a Broadway musical and a rock concert. And it's not like anything that's kind of been done before. It's in a seated proscenium theater, but it's like a rock concert with like the full light show. It's got video LED panels that like have different visual effects going on. The band is killer. And I have Broadway special guests coming to join me to sing on certain songs too, which are announcing later at a later date. And dude, it is just the most fun night out, and it's quick. It's only an hour long. I'm only doing an hour because I'm kind of using this as like the proof of concept for the national and international tour.
This is interesting. So, producer I've produced on Broadway, and I guess I am a producer on Broadway. Not have I am.
Heck yeah, you are.
And so for you, I believe I read that you're producing this all yourself, right? Is that correct, or do you?
For the most part,
Right.
I definitely I have a producer and general manager with Martian Entertainment and Carl White. Their team is helping me out with logistics and getting things in New York because I am not from here. They're helping me organize and get things together, which I'm shout out them. They are very helpful, and also in this building actually.
Really?
Yeah. So they're helping me with all the like nuts and bolts of logistics and things. But yeah, for the most part, like creative is just all been on me and the people I've been hiring and collaborating with. Yeah.
And I mean, like, so normally you're familiar with this, right? You when you're workshopping something, you do presentations for potential investors and potential producers to come and help bring this thing a little bit. And that's sort of how I see this right now. And normally it doesn't even get the kind of press that this is already getting, because we got, like this thing on your show in October. Got a full press release. It's got press agents. You're here doing promotion. Like normally this phase of a project doesn't even get talked about. It's just like quietly behind the scenes happening.
Yeah,
so
that's cool.
Yeah. So is this like, was that conscious, or is that like like you said, you don't half-ass anything? Are you just like build in public, balls out, like
I want to be, yeah. It's all on purpose, mostly because the meetings I was taking, because I want to take this on tour, and that's like the biggest goal for me next year. And so, and I needed to make this show the best it could be. So like part of this plan was very calculated. Like I need a publicist. I need all these different players on my arsenal to help me get this project to where I want it to be by the end of next year. And so, we're kind of going all, but none of this would ever be possible without the fans and the people online that have supported this project and made it go viral week after week. Like I none of this would have the gas behind it if it wasn't for the online community that's been supporting me. So that's where it all stems from. And I'm just, adding some fuel to the fire right now and just trying to make this show October 2nd and 3rd the coolest, most fun experience I can be. There's like little hand, instead of a playbill, I'm doing like really cool. The theme is kind of like dark vaudeville, like Broadway. There's like kind of like a theme, like the ambiance and the whole vibe. And so like instead of a playbill, they're getting like these like see-through envelopes with like a little design that's like designed. And dude, it's just like I'm every single detail has been like thought out for these two shows, and I'm kind of putting everything I have into these two shows. So I'm stoked.
I want to see. I hope one of your duets is Phantom, and
it is. I'll tell you.
Do you have? Oh man, I have so many. As my producer hat, right? Like I want to call Megan Pacherno and get Megan to sing with you, because I want to hear you and Megan.
We can chat. The performer. So some are confirmed, some are still in limbo. That one's still in limbo. Let's talk.
All right,
let's talk.
God, there's just so many great performers that I want to hear experiment outside of their own comfort zone. And they would probably just love this stuff because it's so different from what they're usually used to being hired to do or talking about or whatever the case is. That's part of why I wanted to meet you in person as well, is just because like you are doing things so differently. And I love disruptors. I love people who are just taking the status quo and be like, I'm not going to copy and paste this. I want to like rebuild it better.
Yeah, 100%. And I think that's part of, in my musical theater program in college and in high school too, the thing, like one of the messages that was always thrown out to me in any masterclass, in any workshop, was like, you have to find your own unique, authentic voice as a performer. And I think that's like one of the like big things that should be on a plaque for every performer, right? And this project is that for me. And when I found this, I was like, oh yeah, this is it. And I mean, that's so I think, I don't know where I was going with that, but I guess I just wanted to say that.
Be your own you.
Yeah.
And that's what I was going to say. That's where I was taking this, was that the advice now that it took me 20 years to let this set in was, don't try to sing like Tony Vincent. Don't try to sing like Lena Hall. Just sing like me and find where it's comfortable. Yeah. And then somebody else is eventually going to feel like, oh, okay, that's inspiring me to find my own voice, or whatever the case is. So like be the best you can be. Don't be the next Idina Menzel. Don't be the next Norbert Leo
they already exist.
They already exist. They're already doing their thing.
100%.
Be the next Matt Copley, right? Like, and now you are. And what if a whole musical, someone comes and sees Broadway Goes Punk and they're like, oh, I can sing like that. I didn't know that could be a thing. And they write a whole musical about
this. Dude, exactly. It's all inspiration. And that would be so cool to see happen. And yeah, I hope it inspires a lot of other people to kind of think outside the box and do their own things within the Broadway world or rock world too. I hope this project lives on for a very long time.
I think it will. And you are coming from, you're reaping the benefit of technology and a society that didn't exist even 6 years ago, like pre-pandemic. And because now you have your fan base built in before you start touring.
Yeah.
And that is so unique now, and something that a lot of people are still striving for, because I mean, my kids are like, I'm going to be a YouTube star so I can get a Lamborghini. And like, that's not how life works.
Dude, sometimes. Yeah. I mean, yeah, like with touring specifically, that just the agent landscape with booking agents, like that landscape has changed dramatically over the 6 years. Cause yeah, like they're not signing acts anymore that are just unknowns. You gotta have a following. So like, yeah,
you've got going back to Ann Juliet, like Charlie. What's her name? I'm blanking on her name. Charlie D'Amelio. Like, she was one of the very first people to ever start doing just the TikTok dances to create those, and now she's got a huge following. And so like her dream was always to be on Broadway, and so because of her following and not discounting her immense talent, because she's very talented.
Yeah.
And part of the decision, I believe, to cast her in that, obviously, was like she's bringing in a whole generation of people who like just know her from TikTok dancing, but now she's in this Broadway show and people can like come see the Broadway show, blah, blah, blah. But then, like, legitimately, I think you have a good shot of getting onto Broadway with the voice you've got, with the following you've got. And anyway, the point is that it's a new world that didn't exist. And I want to encourage you as a producer to keep doing what you're doing, because it's different enough to take notice, for people to take notice.
Nice.
And it's really going to change the status quo. And you look back and you kind of like talking about shows too, be the best you can be.
Yeah.
Look at the shows that changed the landscape of Broadway. Like, you go back as far as Oklahoma, like that was a game changer at the time. And Rent brought in rock, and Hamilton brought in R&B. And, you know, like, you can go back and find milestones. That American Idiot was another one that was like, okay, we can do this kind of show and it works on Broadway and there's an audience for it. And so I think you're tapping into something that I think is gonna really like circle back here with a younger generation and bring some new life to the industry, because we desperately need it.
Dude, thank you for those really, really kind words. I hope so. I do be auditioning. So, you know, I'm out here, and that's part of the reason I moved to New York too. I just want to be around more creative people for opportunities like this, and to just meet more people and be around more creative people and create new things. And that's just, I'm really happy to be in the city. I'm really happy to be doing this show. And I would love to, you know, if it's not Broadway Does Punk, my project, I would love to take, you know, my art and stuff onto a Broadway stage sometime soon. That would be really fun, in whatever show or whatever capacity I could do that in. It would be a dream come true for sure.
Do you have a dream role? It's a stupid cliche question, but do you have a dream role that you would want to come in and pop into right now?
Of stuff currently playing?
Yeah.
Currently.
Like you moved here, Broadway Goes Punk, totally just explodes on October 2nd and 3rd here in New York City, and then a producer calls you the next day and they're like, I want you in my show. What show are they producing?
Oh, shoot.
Besides Ann Juliet.
I keep, so many people have messaged me about, I think the roles, I think his name is David in Lost Boys. It's like the vampire.
It's
like the
Ali Louis Bourges.
Yes, it's that role.
You would, that would be great. Yeah, David, charismatic glam rock vampire leader.
That'd be cool. But I don't know. I would also love to play like a traditionally like not rocker role at the same time. And I don't know. I'm so sorry. I'm not.
Could you do Phantom? Like, is that in your range?
Yeah, dude. Like 100%.
Go to do Masquerade?
Yeah,
you've got to go see Masquerade.
I do.
Immersive Phantom.
Oh, that would be so cool.
Because they get like, I got Nick Walker spitting in my face, singing Broadway Nick Walker talent.
Oh my gosh.
All in my grill. I was like, oh my God, I love you.
Dude, yes. I have to, I'll make that a point as one of my first things here too. I'll make sure I see Masquerade. But yeah, dude, I would love to do anything like within that world.
That would be so cool. All right. Whoops. All right. So let us start to wind down here with plot in 60 seconds.
Plot in 60 seconds.
So I have a list of 17 popular musicals here.
Oh man.
So you're going to give me a number 1 through 17, which will mean you choose from my list. I will tell you what you chose, and then you give me the plot to that in 60 seconds or less. Make it up if you don't know it.
Oh, I'm going to be so bad at this. Okay.
1 through 17.
All right. Let's go 5.
5 is Mary Poppins. Go.
60 seconds
Oh
remaining.
man, this nanny is so lit. She has magic powers, and she watches over these kids, and they are big dreamers, and they just want the world. They miss their mom, I think. And
45
Mary shows
seconds
them this
remaining.
great life, and then this tapping dude, Bert, comes in at some point, and he's fun to have around. He's pretty cool. And then he goes away, I think, and they go back home, and all is well. They do a lot of
30
singing,
seconds remaining.
and they do a lot of dancing, and it's a lot of fun.
And a spoonful of sugar helps the medicine go down.
Oh man, I am like, this is so revealing of my knowledge right now.
All right, so 3 standard closing questions I use to wrap up my episodes. First one simply is just what motivates you.
Oh, it's such a big question. I think a lot. My family does. My family is like a huge motivator for me. My wife Brooke and my 3 cats. I love them so dearly, and they made this move to New York with me last week, mostly for me and my career, and I'm eternally grateful for them. So they're probably my biggest motivators. I want to be successful for them. And obviously the community online. It's really awesome. When I first posted Defying Gravity, the first thing I did, it was really cool to see so many people and hear from so many people that liked the same things I did at the same time.
Yeah.
And of course, that might sound silly to say, like, of course there's people that like rock music and Broadway music, but like it was never defined, I guess, and I never saw it, and there was never this like community of people, and I don't know, all to say they really motivate me, and it's really cool to see every week them suggest new songs they want to hear and suggest different ideas that I could do, and yeah, they're really motivating.
Well, as your audition for & Juliet, you have to do I Want It That Way.
Oh, okay.
Because that's her, Will Shakespeare and his real life wife was named Anne Hathaway. So he and Anne Hathaway have a duet over how Juliet should, Romeo and Juliet should end. And they both are singing I Want It That Way. No, I Want It That Way. So that's how the songs weave in.
Dude. Okay. Yeah. I really gotta watch that musical.
Yeah, you would really like it.
Okay.
There's one, correct me if I'm wrong, I think one original Max Martin song, like he wrote it for the show, and all the rest are all just like his hits from the last 30 years. It's
That is so
great.
Cool.
So
That is
great.
so sick.
All right, second question. What advice would you give to your younger self and younger people listening now starting out down a similar path?
I would say, I hope this doesn't come off super cliche, but don't be afraid to try new things. And don't be afraid to think outside the box and try stuff. Like before this project existed, I was in theater and was just doing things, quote unquote, the theater way, and only thought in that box. And it wasn't until I joined a band and did all these things that really my horizons expanded, and I could see a lot of different visions of like this project and the different things I could use my talents and voice for. And so I guess my advice would just be, just try things and don't try things that are different, even if they suck. Like, just do it, and then we'll see. Like, you know, and if you don't try things, nothing's ever going to change.
Oh, I love that.
So that's kind of, yeah.
Good. All right. Last question. Hardest one. If you could only see one show for the rest of your life, but you can see it as many times as you want, what would you see?
Dude, I gotta see American Idiot, man. It's just, you know, and it's so funny because I haven't seen the stage production of it in like 12 years or something like that. But from my memory, 12 years ago, that was like the perfect show for me. And it was like from start to finish. I don't even remember the plot really, but like I would see that show just for the music alone for the rest of my life.
I love that.
100%.
All right. And let's see. So go check out Broadway Does Punk Friday, October 2nd. And you've got 2 shows Saturday, October 3rd at the Abrams Art Center here in New York City. And then plug your socials again.
Yes, I am at Matt is Unwell on all the socials.
All the socials. And I am on theater_podcast on most of the socials. I don't know where I am. I'm just out there. Find me, leave a rating, leave a review, share the word, go follow Matt, get tickets for the show. Comment on who you want him to do duets with.
Yeah,
I would like to hear that. Matt, thank you so much. This has been a really good conversation.
Dude, thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it.
All right.
Ladies and gents, this is the moment you waited for. You've been Searching in the dark, your sweat soaking through the floor. And buried in your bones, there's an ache that you can't ignore.